Armada Village Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. Ross, would you please call the roll?
Lemieux?
Here.
St. John?
Here.
Donkey is here. Patterson?
Here.
And De Palma?
Here.
All right, thank you.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Members, we have the agenda in front of you. What is your pleasure? We have Larry's automotive variance request that's on the agenda. Any comments? Any motions?
Yeah, so just two things very simply. It's Larry's request, and then it's to go over the minutes of, what was it, 10 May.
Motion to approve the agenda for the ZBA meeting of Thursday, August 10th, as presented.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Motion by Patterson, seconded by De Palma.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And we have approval of the minutes. Before, we'll get to that after, but let's go on to Larry's first, right?
Yes.
So we have a request for a variance for Larry's Automotive. He would like to add a 36 by 60 addition onto the north end of his building, and it encroaches in the side yard setback. So tonight we have Larry here, and Larry, we can open up the public hearing at 7:03. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, motion, our public hearing's open at 7:03. Larry, the floor is yours.
Okay, so we're looking to add on, it's for our heavy truck division. Right now, the building isn't actually tall enough, because if we bring a bigger truck inside, the ceiling height isn't right, and we need more space for our heavy truck division. So that's why I'm asking for the variance. We're actually working in outside, inside the building, where the building's gonna be, in front of the building. So we're trying to get the guys inside. Can't work like this anymore. It's not just a one-day occurrence, it's an everyday occurrence. It's constant and constant. So with the corner, the way the lot is shaped, if the lot was a normal lot, we wouldn't even be here, but the lot is shaped like pie-shaped on that side, so the back corner of the building, I need variance for the corner.
It's in a regular shape.
Yes, it's irregular shape, I'm sorry.
So you'll have a 9-foot left over.
Yes, yes, yes. And from what I understand, they're changing the variance, so I'm really asking for a foot at the end of the day.
And Larry, the chain link fence and the berm and the arborvitae gonna
That's
stay?
all staying, that's all staying.
Okay.
We're not moving any of that. That will all stay. The only thing, we will take the fence, obviously, in the front. The building will be in the front then.
Yes.
So, the arborvitae's and everything will be, that worked out very well with the berm, and you can't even see in the backyard.
Okay.
So how much higher is the building gonna be?
22 feet.
Okay.
I believe I have 18 right now. So 18,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go to
Maybe
20.
4 more feet.
4 more feet. And a 4 is a lot when you have you pull a motor home up in the air or a tractor. The guys are scrunched down, and we're looking at some new equipment that can pick up, like a fire truck. We'll be able to pick up a fire truck, county truck. So we're real excited to take this venture and move forward.
So Larry, is the roof line gonna be taller than the rest of the building, or?
Yes, for just that building, for just that.
Gotcha.
For just that.
I mean, I don't know that that's an issue here. I
Right.
was kind of curious.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Yes.
if you're gonna put
Yes.
heavy truck in there.
Yes.
So,
The doors will be the same height, it's just the inside height will be a little bit higher.
Understood.
For the lifts.
Yes.
Any more comments? Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Comments? Yeah, we kind of
Public hearing?
Yeah, well, we have a motion to go on a public hearing?
I so move.
We have a
Second.
second. Moved and seconded, go on a public hearing at 7:07. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're out of public hearing. So, any other comments from the board on the variance? We kind of discussed this a little bit, Ross and I did, and just for your information, if this is going to have an effect like fire concerns or anything like that, but because he's really open on all sides, not really an issue. We did try and contact the fire department with no response, you know, to get their opinion. Nothing against them, I'm sure they're busy, but.
I did check with, because I thought that was gonna be a problem, I don't wanna interrupt, but I did check with the previous chief. We walked it, he did not have an issue, he said, we can get around it, no problem. Because of, it's easier because of the drive going back to the sewage treatment plant.
Right, you've had the drive right there.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, my concern when I talked to him was just that if you had an oil fire, gas fire, diesel fire, you know, how are they gonna fight that with a chain link fence and an arborvitae and a berm? And they said that they didn't have an issue with it. So.
And we would have had more of an issue had there been a building close to you.
Correct,
But
correct.
being open like that,
Right.
Yeah.
well, I'm not saying, I don't know what everyone else is looking at, if you're thinking the same way, but. So,
Gotta have safety first.
do we have no comments from the board then? Yeah.
I do. So this is an interesting case. You know, we get a lot of cases and they're pretty cut and dried because you've got a zoning ordinance and really the responsibility of the zoning board of appeals is to look at what we've got and to not deviate from it unless there's a principal hardship or some other significant reason that impacts you. This is one where there's a tenet of management of zoning ordinances, that's a bad way to put it, but there's a tenet that says because it's private property, you try to give to the property owner to the extent that you can, unless the property owner is affecting another property owner. In your case, you want to expand to the north. Your expansion to the north doesn't really impact anybody. It's by the zoning ordinance as it stands today, you would be in violation. You're supposed to be 20 feet. You're coming within 10 feet. But you impact a service drive to the wastewater treatment plant. You impact the parking area to the trail. You impact the trail. If anybody, you impact Lance and the Armada Granary. So you really don't affect anybody by that. Now, an interesting thing that Dennis and I found out is the Planning Commission is reviewing the zoning ordinance, and one of the things that they are, it's not done yet, but I suspect that council will approve it. One of the things they're going to recommend is for industrial that side yard setbacks get changed from 20 feet to 10 feet. So you're kind of right there, and I don't know that we want to quibble about inches. I mean, say you're within 9 inches of the fence at the closest point, they're going to establish 9 feet, they're going to establish 10 feet, but you're not impacting anybody to the north. So this is one of those weird ones where we can kind of give a little bit to the property owner because you don't impact anybody. Still technically a violation, but you don't impact anybody. So it's easy to, I think, approve this.
Well, that said, but and plus his hardship is he needs more space to keep operating, and that's kind of really, he discussed that hardship.
Yeah.
The other question that was brought up too, and Larry and I talked about it, is finishing that front driveway, finishing a concrete where that old house was knocked down, and you agreed to doing that, so.
I did agree to do that. I'm gonna check with the planning commission a little further. It's working well the way it is. We'd like to do the approaches, but I will agree to do that if I don't get any, I wanna talk a little bit more about that, but we need to do that. We need to get that done right away, because I can't add on until that's done, for more than just the reason that you want it done, is I won't be able to get in my backyard while
Yeah.
the cement's curing, so we need to get it done. So we're gonna handle that this week, or next week.
But I think what Dennis would also tell you is that itself, that issue is kind of irrelevant for what we're doing.
Okay.
But we would,
No, you want- I know-
we would ask you to
Exactly.
be a
No, I
good
understand.
neighbor and do
Yes.
kind of what you agreed to
Yes.
when
Yeah.
you were originally given
Yes.
the approval. So, you know, the village kind of digs into that kind of stuff, but from the standpoint of the zoning board, that's really irrelevant to our decision. But we appreciate the
No,
fact that
right, yeah.
you're gonna work with planning.
Yes.
Christie, of course, is the
Yes,
planning
my
commission
next
chair,
is to talk to you about that. and
to get that
to
taken
get that-
care of.
Exactly.
But as I say, this is kind of a unique case, and it's, I'm kind of happy that you brought it, because it's an opportunity to, you know, when you talk to the camera, it's an opportunity to tell people, we're really not trying to beat down residents or business owners with the zoning ordinance. We try to give them as much as we can give them, but frequently what happens is you got to consider the neighbors. In your case, then your neighbor is a service drive, and you know, at a distance it's Lance, and Lance, unless you have a concern about it,
No, it's not,
which I don't
it's
think
not a
you.
consequence to us whatsoever.
Yeah, you're really not impacting anybody by doing it. And as I say, we went to the fire department just to see, do they have a problem, because you've got a fence there, which is a consequence of the original approval, and fire department doesn't have an issue. So this is really, it's kind of easy for us. You wanna make that motion then?
So, no, it would be up to the board members if they want to make a motion.
Okay,
The chair shouldn't make a motion.
Okay.
So basically, any comments from the board? Have you, any motions? You have a motion to approve or reject?
Or concerns?
Motion to approve the,
I've got a motion if you don't
We've
mind.
actually got it.
Because I wrote it up.
If you want to let her read
Since
it.
I'm the secretary, yeah, I gotta copy it, but everything here in italics is what I would need for the motion to put it into the books.
okay, so your first two,
It is, yeah,
doesn't
this and this.
it? Okay. So, motion to approve Larry Schwartz's request for a dimensional side yard setback variance on the north side of his commercial building, vehicle repair station, located at 73111 Fulton Street, for the purpose of building a 36 by 60 extension. The specific component of the zoning ordinance and the variance is applied to Article 5, dimensional standards. Section 5.101, table of dimensional standards by district, and section 5.302, area and yard regulations of the village zoning ordinance. Okay.
It's a bit of a mouthful, but
It's a yes.
for purposes of somebody who wants to look at this down the road, it indicates what we're specifically looking at. So it's nothing else other than we're gonna grant you that variance to the north side. If there's anything else that changes, you've gotta come back, but to the north side, and then it indicates the components of the zoning ordinance that we're making a change to. Okay.
So we have a motion to approve, do we have a second? Yes.
One question. When it says the dimensions, should there be a height of the peak at all in there? Is that?
I don't think it really matters, because there's
Wanna make
nothing
sure
in there that
everything-
says.
He's
Everything's
still-
worded, I just wanna make sure everything's worded.
Yeah, he still has to comply with the zoning ordinance on the
Right.
height.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Yeah, so if
One
Larry
more
wants to
question
make it
I have.
800 feet tall, that's up to him.
Well, yeah, I think you can guarantee any of that, I just wanna,
That's all.
Good question, though. Good
Wanna make
question.
sure.
I'll second.
Okay, so, let me just get this down, Patterson and Palmer. Now, let's just talk about this for a second. So, planning commission, at some point, is gonna come forward to council, and it's gonna recommend changes to the zoning ordinance. One of those changes is this industrial district side yard setback change from 20 feet to 10 feet. Alright, Larry's, he's about a foot into it, but again, he's not impacting anybody, and his nearest neighbor doesn't have a issue. And I guarantee you, nobody at wastewater has a problem with it. And I'm not tracking down people that use the trail, so, I guess the question is, are you fairly confident? I mean, I guess I would say I'm confident council will probably take whatever changes planning recommends. Christie's the planning commission liaison, so she's the president of the planning commission. She also serves on this board, so.
We work very closely with the planners, and I don't see an issue.
Yeah, I
with
wouldn't.
the changes we've requested.
Yeah, and, cause I'm on council, I wouldn't see council digging into it. If planning says we recommend these changes, council's probably gonna go, okay, yes, approved.
Right, and like I said, we've worked very closely with McKenna, so
Yeah.
they know that, it's not just us sitting around making up things.
Okay, no, that's good. Again, I think at the end of the day, there's no even if it doesn't change. Say somebody from council, sorry, gotta kinda go through this. If somebody from council comes back and says, gotta keep it at 20, can't be 10, right? You get 15 residents in and 3 business owners, and they say, you can't do that, it's gotta stay at 20. Still, he doesn't impact anybody. So I think it's important that that gets approved, but I don't know that if it doesn't get approved, it changes anything, because he's not impacting
Right.
anybody. And we want to defer to the property owner where we can.
Right.
And this is a great case, because we can defer to the property owner, right? And not tell you what you can or can't do with your property here, because you're not impacting anybody. So, okay, all right, anybody got any?
Any other comments?
Yes,
So it's
ma'am.
been moved and seconded? Yes.
You still in comments? Okay, it actually does impact more than just Larry. It impacts the community. Larry's been here for ages. We all rely on Larry's service. Probably the majority of town goes to Larry's. Everything you need, you go to Larry's. We have, like I said, they've got large trucks that they can't get in there, so we're turning community people away. We've got farmers with big trucks. I've seen motor homes there that they're working on outside because they can't get them in and lift them. If our fire truck, do we want to send our fire truck out to somewhere to have it repaired and take twice as long? So it does impact the community, and I think this type of variance is a favorable variance to keep everybody moving smoothly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons to do it.
I do too. And I don't think council would have an issue with it.
Yeah, and Joe has served on the zoning board of appeals, which is what this is, for a long time, so I appreciate her 2 cents. So, I think you've got a motion on the floor.
We have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Larry.
No, thank you.
Your opportunity to get out while you can, because then we're gonna
Or
talk
sit through
about
some
it.
more.
The last one.
All right, thank you very much.
Congratulations, Lance, thanks for coming.
When's that building gonna get done anyway?
I think he's gonna have Orchard Construction build it. I think he was talking about that.
Oh, yeah?
Spring.
I don't know how far backed up they are, but.
Sure.
But that
Well,
was,
it's
that
gotta
was
have it
discussion
like
about
that.
planning, about that concrete. It was brought up to me, a month or 2 ago. We talked about that, a month ago, I guess, about finishing that concrete in front of the old buildings knocked down. Oh, we don't really have any real power, but we can have a suggestion, you should finish that,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give you a variance, but you should finish that. It's something that planning wanted and the village wanted, so.
There was a discussion at planning that it hadn't been finished, but we did have other items in front of us, and it didn't go anymore.
Right.
Farther than a discussion.
But it was brought up, and it was a good thing that, we can work together.
Well,
Planning.
and this is an opportunity maybe to, I don't know, talk to the code enforcer, the building inspector, or just to say, hey, Larry has indicated he's gonna finish this unfinished part of the agreement from his time in planning, and he's indicated on camera that he's gonna do it, so
This week,
let's,
he said.
yeah.
We can
Okay.
indicate that in minutes too for,
Bad week with fair week, but we can have it.
So, which would be good, and then that gets that done, and then it's, then he's complied with all of the, I think, open items on his initial approval at planning.
I know one of the other concerns was getting things off, getting trucks or vehicles off the side of the public walk. So now he's gonna have more room to move, to get it inside and get off the public walk, you know, which isn't really used down there, but still, it
It
shouldn't be
is.
on the parking lot, you know. Well, yeah, there's what, 2 of you live down that way?
And people are walking through there constantly. They go to the physical therapy place, they go to the bank, and when they have to walk around vehicles, it puts them over onto the street side.
Yeah.
And that is a speedy area right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's always trying to slow down.
Yeah, sure.
Well, and that may be something that you want to, again, through the code enforcer, just remind Larry, you gotta keep that sidewalk open. And I know it's tough for him at times, he does a lot of business in the community relies on him, but he also needs to be aware that he needs to provide back to the community, and that would be a way, just keep that sidewalk open.
I'll talk to the code enforcer.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that being passed, now we have approval of the minutes. ZBA was working session 10 May 23. I think you all have a copy.
Yeah, if I can. So this was just a regular semi-annual ZBA meeting. We had a couple agenda items. Dennis was unable to make it, so we scratched one of the items. And so the principal thing we talked about was the meeting we had with the Township Planning Commission, where some of the Village Planning Commission members went, the Planning Commission chair. The chair went, Christie, the council liaison, Mike Shell went, I went, Joe went, and we just talked a little bit about that. Thought it was a good meeting, and provided an opportunity to work maybe more closely together with the township. So nothing extraordinary out of that discussion, you know, and in fact, the township has come back here recently and asked Dave Conan, the village council president, to have Mike Shell as the Parks and Rec Commissioner work with the Township Parks and Rec Commissioner on a joint Park and Rec plan. So that's in process,
Good idea.
and that's good. I think any opportunity to work with the township is a good thing. Beyond that, there really wasn't much else that got discussed, other than we talked about the next semi-annual regular ZBA meeting would be conducted in the October-November timeframe, date to be determined, right? So this is an appeal tonight. This is, you know, that's what we live for, is appeals, but when we don't do appeals, just so we don't forget everybody's names, we meet twice a year, and so that's what this is.
It also gets your meeting minutes approved quicker than
And
4
get
or
your
5
meeting minutes
years.
approved. It's kind of tough when, if you meet and then the next time you meet is 4 years later and you try to remember what the heck you talked about.
Right,
So
and we
Joe's-
encountered that.
Joe's right. So that's why we're doing this, approving this from May. So does
So, do
anybody,
we have any motions on approving the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes of the ZBA regular meeting of Wednesday, May 10th, as presented.
Then moved, do we have a second? We have a second. Moved and seconded, all's in favor?
Aye.
All's opposed? I'll abstain, I wasn't there.
okay, all right.
So, any citizen comments?
Joe?
See none?
Good job.
Move on. Yeah, Evelyn? Board comments?
I think this is, things are kind of working the way they're supposed to. So we've had a couple appeals. Remember, we went through a long dry spell. So those semi-annual meetings were important just to kind of keep us connected. But we have had a couple appeals. This is the second one in 6 months, and it's kind of why we're here. So appreciate everybody coming here tonight. We've got a half an hour in. It's probably going to end in a couple more minutes, and so I do appreciate everybody showing up, doing their homework, and participating.
Do we have any preferences for October or November for the semi-annual meeting?
Yeah, tell me now.
Anybody special, any October better than November? Or November better than
Yeah, and we
October?
always go through this. Is Wednesday better or is Thursday?
So not
better?
Wednesdays.
Okay, so Thursdays.
Thursday's better.
Wednesdays aren't great for me.
Okay,
good.
so
Thursday's
I
good
can
for you?
swing it, but I prefer not to.
Right.
I will
Yeah.
do.
Tuesdays aren't great for me.
Yeah, we'll keep them Thursdays if that's what everybody seems to.
Thursday it is.
Thursdays preferred.
Works for the camera too.
Is
Such a
October
nice
better than
meeting.
November, or does it matter?
And you could move it into push it into November now
November
because
gets
we
here.
Is that kind of the general feeling with November?
I'm good with that.
No big deal?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I'll focus
What is
on.
it, like the fourth Thursday in November, is that a good one?
We could do that.
Someone's gotta bring the turkey out.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, let me take a quick look here.
Third, fourth,
And I'll propose a tentative date, and so Thanksgiving is, so what I got on my calendar is backwash at the water treatment plant. So, what is it, the 27th? 24th?
23rd,
23rd is
23rd?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
I should know that. So you could do it the week prior, which is 13 through 17, or you could, let me take that back, which would be 16, Thursday, 16 November, or 30, Thursday, 30 November.
Any big deal with hunters? Anybody hunter? No? No big deal? Okay. Good with that.
You wanna just put 30 on there?
Yeah, 16th is fine.
I think
Okay.
16th.
I think 16th
Yeah,
is
16th.
Yeah.
Okay. 16 November as a tentative date, and that's what it will be unless there's something else that comes up.
7 PM again?
Yep.
Very good.
And I have a planning commission meeting the 20th, so when we
Gotcha.
discussed at the meeting, we can talk about that on the 16th.
Okay.
We tried to send those emails out early on this one too. Everybody got that about the zoning board. You know, so you could have, you know, if you had any questions, you could bring them up. If you wanna go down and look at that. I think it's probably good for us, each of us to go down and look at, you know, and understand the variance requests as they come in. Not that we get that many, but, you know.
Yeah. Like I said, this was a good one. It was interesting in that, you know, when we originally looked at it, it's, okay, he wants to expand his business, he can't expand his business, that's his hardship. But who's he impacting? Nobody, because there's nobody really to his north that's close to him. He's impacting the service drive and he's impacting a parking lot. So, does anybody care? Give it to the property owner, right? And then just by talking to Becky, we found out that you guys were looking at changing the side yard setback dimensions and reducing it almost to what he was,
Huge impact.
yeah. Which just makes it easier. I mean, it just makes the case, makes it easier for us to make a decision. So, I think this was an interesting one from that perspective, because again, normally you've got somebody that's right next door and they're gonna be impacted by something, and so you don't just automatically give it to them. Then you gotta consider the neighboring resident, neighboring business, but in this case, there's nobody to harm, nobody to affect, so. And so it was nice to kind of give it to him and not have an arm wrestling match in the process.
You know, he's been expanding, you know, more and more, you know, more business, so he was actually talking about an addition on the back, probably 5-6 years ago. I don't know if he ever talked to planning about it, but I don't know if he never did want to go before planning on it.
No, he wasn't ready to put anything forward.
Yeah,
I know he wanted to change tires in the back or something, so I think this kind of evolved, you know, as time went on. Like you said, now he's in the big vehicle repair,
Yeah.
school buses.
yeah,
He always has, but he's been doing it, like he says, right outside,
Outside,
and, you know, you drive by in the rain and there's them guys underneath the hood of a truck, you know.
You see the
trying to
motorhome
find
out there in front, yeah.
some- Yeah.
I even saw a Memphis school bus out there,
Oh, yeah?
yeah,
Yeah.
no surprise.
And that was one of the conditions when he was approved to build the building there, was that he didn't work out front of the building.
yeah.
So this is gonna help put that back into compliance.
Right,
So this will help him comply with that then, and then not impact his business, so. No, that's good.
any more comments from? No, well, motion is ordered to adjourn.
So moved
Moved, we have a second?
at 7:31?
Moved and seconded, 7:31. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting adjourned.